Welcome to the Harnessing Happiness podcast. This is the Happy Clappy soundbite.
Hello and welcome to Harnessing Happiness, your Happy Clappy soundbite with me, Sarah J Naylor. Well, I hope you're all ready for the weekend, and I hope this short soundbite of happiness will set you on the right tracks for a fabulous weekend. What is it that I want to chat with you about today? Well, here we go. I want to introduce you all to my APE Mindset methodology. Maybe I should sound a little bit more excited, because actually I am really thrilled. I coined this phrase earlier on in the year. It is an acronym of acceptance, perspective and energy. So that is why it is APE. APE is a word I wanted to use because I wanted to suggest copying and replicating and thinking about my mindset. And it's a really nice, easy word to remember, especially when you then start to understand what the letters stand for. So let's dig in deeper to what my APE Mindset methodology stands for and what it means and how you can use it. Let's go back to 2020. The world suddenly shut down and we went into lockdown because of COVID in pretty much around March 2020. At this particular point, everything dropped out of my business world completely, and there was nothing I could do about it. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C and Plan D all flew out of the window, and I had to then realise that I had to do something about it, which I did, and I pivoted and I actually looked at this whole situation from a different perspective. I accepted the fact that I couldn't change what had just happened. You know, it impacted on all of us in so many different ways globally. However, you know, for me, as I say, it impacted my business. It chucked all the other options I'd always had in the planning out of the window. So there was this level of acceptance. I couldn't do anything about it. And it was only in reflecting this year that I sort of really noted what I'd done and how I'd approached it, and actually how I've always used this approach throughout life. And I think it will really, hopefully, I really do hope that it will help you, live a sort of a life that's happier by just sort of adopting this mindset, this framework. So if I get back to the acceptance, I couldn't change anything. I could only shift my perspective on it and look at what I could do instead. So that is what I did. And I saw the opportunities that were presented for me and how that opened up a raft of opportunities to do the things that I'd not had time to do previously because of my work commitments. So there was this real unwritten permission, if you like, for me to really launch into revisiting training. I set up a YouTube channel. I turned my book, Shining a Light on You, How to Manifest Your Dream Job, into an online course, which is now, available as a digital course called Manifest Your Dream Job. I undertook more training myself in NLP. I did all sorts of things. And then my sort of day-to-day business in recruitment sort of kicked back in, and we went backwards and forwards. We pushed and we pulled, but it had created this whole new way of working and an opportunity for me to do things differently. So this is how I channeled my energy, which is where the E in APE comes from. So we've got this acceptance of what I couldn't change. You know, I just had to accept it. This was what happened. I couldn't do anything else about it. But what I could do was change my behaviour. I could change the way I looked at things and shift my perspective accordingly and channel my energy into something positively rather than focusing in on everything that had suddenly gone. Because trust me, believe me, when I say that if I had focused in on all of the negatives, I could have taken myself into a very, very deep spiral down, because the flip side of my positive mindset and my positive take on everything, it's just not worth going there. It really, really isn't. I much prefer to see the opportunities that are being presented. And that's the key to this. And that is what this APE Mindset methodology is about. It's about encouraging you to look at things with a different set of eyes, to change your behaviour, to get different results, and not to get caught up in a downward spiral of focusing on the negatives of how things aren't working out or aren't going how you planned, because there will be a reason behind stuff not happening. But it's about channeling your energies in a different direction to make that happen. Let me give you another sort of example, a little bit more closer to home, something that's perhaps a little bit more realistic, because obviously COVID was massive. It is realistic to most people, but this APE mindset methodology can be applied, at any time in your life if you've got a challenging situation or something that's shifted, something hasn't, planned out. Or panned out as planned. There we go, panned out as planned. So let's say, for instance, you are supposed to be going on a night out with friends, something that's been arranged for a long time, you're really looking forward to it, and then suddenly something happens and it takes it completely out of your control, and you're left sat on the sofa and you're going, great, I'm all dressed up, I've got my best gear on, or whatever gear you want to go out in, it's up to you. However, you've been geared up for this night out, you've been looking forward to it, and suddenly it's gone, it's not happening. So rather than getting really fed up and giving more energy to something that's not happening, shift that perspective. Accept, there's your A again, accept that it's not going to happen. And think about what you could be doing instead. So shift that perspective and channel your energy accordingly. So let's say, for instance, night out hasn't happened, but suddenly you've got the opportunity to read that book, watch that box set, go and have a nice bath, go and do something completely different, pick up the phone to a friend, jump on a Zoom call, jump on Teams, whatever it is. When that time has been freed up, it gives you an opportunity to do something differently. And it's also important to take note that for some reason it wasn't meant to be. Whatever it was, there would be some reason you weren't supposed to go out or do whatever it was you were supposed to be doing at that moment in time. So that shift has happened for a reason that you may never really fully understand. But trust and believe that everything is working out wonderfully. So that is another sort of top tip for you. And it's one that I use all the time in my own mindset, is that everything is working out. And if you sort of accept that and you stay in the now, you really will, see things in a different way. It makes you feel so much more positive if you consistently see things from a positive perspective. So please do trial out my APE Mindset methodology. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. So please do rate, review, follow. I'd love you to follow or subscribe as well, because what I'm trying to do is really push out sort of this harnessing happiness globally. And the more people that listen, the more we can spread this happiness. So please do share your comments, positive ones, please, because what we put out is what we get back. And have a great weekend. Thank you for listening to my short Happy Clappy soundbite from me, Sarah J Naylor at Harnessing Happiness. And have a wonderful weekend and go harness your happiness now. Take care. Lots of love.
That was the Happy Clappy soundbite. Hear full-length episodes of the Harnessing Happiness podcast, released every Tuesday. And for more exclusive content from Sarah, just visit sarahjnaylor.com.